We know it's been a long sporting year.
3 World Cups and an African Cup of Nations, all within the space of 6 months.
But as you prepare for your December lunches and your Vosho vibes, we want to look back on the sporting year that was in 2019.
What better place to start than to look at sporting moments that made headlines locally, and one of the biggest shocks of the season was undoubtedly TS Galaxy winning the Nedbank Cup. They beat Kaizer Chiefs 1-0 in the final as they became the first NFD side to win a major club competition in South Africa. Zakhele Lepasa was the hero for his side, scoring a stoppage time penalty to ensure that Kaizer Chiefs went a 4th consecutive season without any silverware. Unfortunately, we have to mention the Cricket World Cup, but fortunately for the Proteas, there was no chance of them choking at this year's tournament. That's because they were never in contention to win anything in the first place. They started their tournament with a game against host nation England on the opening day. They went on to lose that game by 104 runs, and it only went downhill from there. They lost to India and Bangladesh all in the first week of the tournament. That meant that South Africa finished in 7th place, winning just 3 of their 9 matches. At this year's Africa Cup of Nations, Bafana, well, they pulled a Bafana. They lost their opening game to Ivory Coast by 1-0. They then redeemed themselves, beating Namibia by the same margin. That meant heading into the final group game against Morocco, they needed a result, and in typical Bafana fashion, needed other results to go their way. South Africa ended up finishing 3rd in their group and somehow managed to get into the last 16 as one of the best 3rd place teams. They set up a clash against host nation Egypt, where Thembi Nkosi Lorch was unleashed on the Pharaohs. He scored the only goal of the game to send South Africa through to the quarterfinals, that goal coming in the 85th minute of the match. They were then the victims of a late goal as Nigeria scored in the 89th minute to seal South Africa's fate and knock them out of the tournament. Upon returning home, Stuart Baxter resigned as head coach of the national team with a whole 3 years left on his contract. Brad Binder proved to be one of the biggest things to come out of Potch. The 24-year-old will make the step up to MotoGP next season, having finished 2nd in Moto2 in 2019, just 3 points behind eventual champion Alex Marquez. Binder finished the year with 3 wins in a row. He'll now join up with Red Bull KTM, replacing Johan Zarco in MotoGP.
And now, your international top 5 stories of the year. United fans, look away now. Excuse me, sir. Get offset. Thank you. Thank you. 2019 was the year when Liverpool re-established their dominance as European powerhouses. Having lost out to Manchester City in the English Premier League on the last day, they consoled themselves with the ultimate trophy of all, the UEFA Champions League. Having overturned a 3-0 deficit against Barcelona, they thrashed Spurs 2-0 in the final to clinch a 6th European title. In 2020, if they win the league, I'm not alive for it. In 2019, the US women's national team proved that they were queens of talking smack and backing it up. A 13-0 win over Thailand in the opening game of the FIFA Women's World Cup, Megan Rapinoe's celebration, and to top it off, turning down invitations to Donald Trump's White House. They stole the show in France. They won a 4th Women's World Cup, extending their record to 4 wins following successes in 1991, 1999 and 2015, and that stat will go a long way in their fight for equal pay. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not a member of the Ndlovu Youth Choir, but top 3 of our most important international sports stories this year was the return to action of Tiger Woods. Tiger showed that there's still more fight left in him as he donned a 5th green jacket to make it 15 Grand Slam wins. Woods' closing round of 70 for a 13 under par 275 ensured that he won over players such as Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson. The victory came 14 years after the last time he won at Augusta. 11 years since his last major and 24 months after telling fans and friends that he was done. Now he'll hope that his back holds up as he targets that magical number 18 that Jack Nicklaus enjoys. I'm sorry. The whole Southern Hemisphere's prayers couldn't even stop England from winning the Cricket World Cup. After a competitive game where they played New Zealand in the final, both teams were tied for 241 in 50 overs at Lord's, forcing the game into a super over. The English posted a total of 15. 15. That's all New Zealand needed. 15. But they still couldn't match it. And now we have to deal with the next 4 years of England telling us that they're champions. It was their first title in 27 years. And really, we don't deserve this. We don't. No one deserves an England win. And that's all I have to say. And your number one local and international sports story of 2019. Drum roll, please. We'll edit that one out. The Springboks. If the rugby championship was the entree, then we feasted in Japan.
And feast we did indeed. South Africa becoming the first nation to win the Webb Ellis Cup on 3 different continents. Siya Kolisi also becoming the first black captain to lead South Africa to a World Cup and then to World Cup victory. The accolades kept coming after the World Cup win over England, as Rassie Erasmus was named Coach of the Year, Pieter-Steph du Toit was named Player of the Year, and of course South Africa named Team of the Year, having won the World Cup, the Rugby Championship and 10 out of 12 Test matches.
And really, beating England in a final is a medal on its own. Thalagele Mganga,
Michael Pedro, EWN Sport.